Welcome to Shareback Studio. On your left side we have Cannondale Super 6 Evo with the hydraulic disc brakes, and on your right side we have Marine Gestalt on the mechanical disc brakes. Even though the one here, Gestalt, is the gravel bike, I did same speeds, same conditions, dry and wet, so we're gonna compare how do mechanical and hydraulic disc brakes feel on the road bike. Let's start with the models. Super 6 Evo has the Shimano Ultegra, I would say. This is the RS685 shifter and braking lever combo. And the caliper is from Shimano RS805 with the 160 Ice Technologies rotor, also from Shimano. And then here we have a much cheaper set, which is the TRP Spire C caliper, the mechanical one, so you can see the cable, with 160 no Ice Technologies rotor from TRP as well, and the shifter and braking lever is SRAM Apex. I'm gonna talk briefly about a couple of factors: price, weight, feel with a braking power of course, and comfort, and then the maintenance, which is quite important here. Let's start with the price. The hydraulic brakes usually will be significantly more pricey, even though the calipers on both brakes would cost just around $50, something like that. Maybe the Shimano will be a bit more expensive, but I would say the price is quite similar. Then the shifters would be also double the price, not of SRAM Apex, but if you are going to buy Ultegra mechanical and Ultegra hydraulic, the price will be way higher on the hydraulic version. So hydraulic ones will be more expensive. So here plus for mechanical. Now the second one is the weight, and it's once more plus for the mechanical brakes. Of course we can talk about different models, but here once more this is not like high-end specification, and the weight on these will be slightly lower than the weight of these brakes. We're talking about the caliper, the housing, and the shifter, because those shifters are significantly heavier than the mechanical ones. So once more plus for the mechanical brakes. And finally, the most important factor is not the price, the weight, but the braking power and modulation. And here we have 1 point for the hydraulic brakes with just one question mark. So let me explain that. So the braking power on the hydraulic brakes is just better than the mechanical ones. You can feel that. We should also remember that here where we have mechanical cable, the cable is being pulled while we are braking. And here on the hydraulic brakes, we are actually pushing the oil down the system to the caliper brake, so that the pistons will be pushed in against the rotor. And I would say one thing here is that we don't have so much friction between the oil and the housing as we have between the cable and the housing, but also while we are braking, the housing on the mechanical ones, you can even see it's moving, and then thus the braking feel is much more spongy than on the hydraulic ones. So this is big plus for hydraulic system. You can feel that it just stops quite suddenly and you start braking. Here on the front you don't see that much of a housing movement, but on the rear brake, which is still really good, you can really even see the housing moving. So the braking feel is not as good as on the hydraulic ones. So this is a huge plus for hydraulic ones. Now my question mark is the heat resistance, because here we have Ice Technologies disc brake, which is made of steel, aluminum steel. We have those braking pads with those radiators. So these fins are supposed to cool our brakes down, And here we have no systems for cooling down. And I would say when I was hitting high speed on my last trip in the mountains, you will see a whole video of that. I would say I started to feel my braking lever just way different than normally when these aren't that hot. On my Marine, I wouldn't maybe go for 70 kilometers per hour, but I would do easily 50-60 kilometers per hour, and I never felt that much of a difference while braking for a long time and really having high temperature on the brakes. So I would be really happy if you put some comments just below the video. Do you have like similar feel that hydraulic disc brakes would not be that heat resistant as the mechanical ones? All right, so you know these will be normally cheaper and won't be heavier, that's for sure, than the hydraulic ones. Hydraulic ones have better braking power and better modulation, so you can really like adjust the braking power more easily. But still, these are quite good, and these will make a great job when the heat is just like the temperature is high. Now, comfort. One thing you should be aware when purchasing a bike with or without hydraulic brakes is that the braking lever will be also significantly larger. If we compare this Shimano one, let's say Ultegra, it has 13 centimeter of length against SRAM Apex, which has around 11. Of course, SRAM has smaller shifters than the Shimano, but you can just be sure that the reach on your bike, when you are riding on the hoods, will be at least 1 centimeter more than on the mechanical ones. So you can certainly run those TRP Spire C with Ultegra mechanical shifters, and this would work very good for you. So some actually would prefer having longer hoods, but some won't. So sometimes this is my feel. I would like to have my stem shorter, and I would probably just replace that one for a shorter one if the bike was going to stay with me for longer than just until May, but we'll see what about that. All right, so we've got the price, weight, the braking power covered, and the comfort as well. The last one is the maintenance. Of course, we should not be afraid of hydraulic brakes and the bleeding procedure, which here on these brakes is super easy. But still, mechanical ones will be easier to maintain. And since we have also the dual piston system on the, for example, TRP Spire C, so 2 pistons working well with our braking, and also fully adjustable from both sides. This is a really good thing if you do not like to think so much about maintenance. Now, when you pull off the wheel and put it back, on different bikes you would quite often have problem with the rotors rubbing against the braking pads. It's not a problem on either of these bikes once, because here we have quite a heavy duty fork which is quite stiff, and the force I'm applying to my lever, because this is quick release, doesn't make so much difference on the hub also, so that the position of rotor against the caliper is pretty much the same always. And here we have the through axle on Canada, because the fork is super light, so the through axle also makes for same position of the rotor. So no problems here, really. I could always hear just nothing when removing and putting the wheel back on my bike. So it's not that easy for me right now to say which one would I prefer, but I would say you may be in two situations. One, you are buying bike and you think, okay, should I buy a bit higher lever so that I would have hydraulic brakes? I wouldn't bother so much about it. I would not. And I wouldn't say if you're living in a hill terrain, go for hydraulic, because I'm not sure if these are so good for high temperature. And second situation, you may be running mechanical disc brakes and thinking about just upgrading into hydraulic ones. I personally would not bother, because I do like the TRP Spire C, and I would spend more money for maybe like oval chainring, or pull some more money from my bank account and maybe replace the crankset. But I would not really bother so much. I feel really good on both. This is really smooth and really nice. If you have the money, you can just do that and you will feel hydraulic brakes are great, but still TRP Spire C don't feel like some mechanical cheap and not worth the price thing. So this is what I thought. I really appreciate your comments, because your input is just, you know, of high value here. Thank you so much for that. Waiting for you down there, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.